Why comfort can shorten a life. Comfort is supposed to be the reward. Softer lives, fewer hardships, less friction. And yet, in the data, the most comfortable lives were not always the longest ones. At first, this seemed counterintuitive. Reduced stress should protect the body. Convenience should preserve energy. A life engineered to remove struggle ought to extend vitality, not erode it. For decades, this assumption shaped how modern societies design homes, cities, workplaces, and technologies. Progress meant smoother days, fewer physical demands, and less exposure to discomfort. Longevity was expected to follow naturally. Yet, when researchers compared populations across different environments, a strange pattern emerged. Longevity declined not where life was hardest, but where it became too smooth. The places with the highest levels of comfort did not consistently produce the healthiest aging. Instead, they often showed earlier loss of resilience, earlier dependence, and sharper declines once disruption occurred. To understand why this matters, we need to look at what comfort actually removes. It removes effort, yes, but it also removes challenge. It removes uncertainty. It removes the signals that tell the body it is still needed. Biology does not only respond to damage, it responds to demand. And when demand disappears, so does adaptation. In comfortable environments, systems are rarely tested. Muscles are spared from necessity. Metabolism is stabilized instead of stressed. Risk is minimized through predictability. Climate is controlled. Food is constant. Movement is optional. At first, this looks protective. The body expends less energy responding to threat. Wear and tear appears reduced. But over time, something essential goes quiet. Biological systems are built to respond. To stress, then recover. To effort, then adapt. This cycle is not optional. It is how resilience is maintained. When challenge disappears entirely, adaptation follows it into silence. Repair pathways downshift. Redundancy erodes. The body begins optimizing for preservation instead of capability. Researchers noticed that people living in highly comfortable conditions showed earlier functional decline, not dramatic illness or sudden collapse, but subtle loss of capacity, slower recovery from minor disruptions, reduced tolerance for change, a narrowing of what the body could handle without strain. The range of resilience shrank quietly. Comfort had not harmed them directly. It had made them fragile. And once fragility set in, aging accelerated in ways no amount of convenience could reverse. The body, no longer rehearsed in adaptation, struggled when faced with even modest stress. A small illness felt overwhelming. A minor injury lingered. Recovery stretched longer than expected. As researchers dug deeper, they realized comfort itself was not the enemy. The absence of challenge was. In moderate stress, the body strengthens. Bones remodel under load. Muscles adapt to demand. The nervous system sharpens in response to variability. Immune systems calibrate through exposure. These systems rely on regular signals that say, "This still matters." When stress is eliminated entirely, those signals fade. Maintenance becomes optional in the body's internal economy. Comfortable lives often removed unpredictability. Climate control eliminated environmental stress. Instant access removed effort. Effortless movement replaced necessity-driven activity. The body no longer needed to respond to its surroundings. It simply existed within them. Over time, this altered biology in measurable ways. Metabolic flexibility declined as systems were never challenged to switch states. Muscular strength diminished without purposeful demand. Cardiovascular reserve thinned. Immune responses grew less responsive, calibrated to stability rather than surprise. The body optimized for sameness, not resilience. What made this pattern dangerous was its subtlety. Comfort felt good. Nothing seemed wrong. Daily life was easier than ever. Decline arrived quietly, only becoming obvious when capacity was tested, during illness, injury, or sudden stress. By then, reserves were already depleted. Attempts to reintroduce challenge often fell short. Exercise layered onto otherwise frictionless lives did not fully restore resilience. The body responded temporarily, but the signal was weak compared to the constant ease surrounding it. Artificial stress could not replace lived necessity. Scheduled effort lacked the biological weight of effort tied to survival or purpose. The research suggested that challenge needed to be woven into daily life, not added as an isolated event. Movement built into survival, variability built into routine, effort that mattered because it served a purpose, not because it was scheduled, stress that rose naturally and resolved fully rather than spiking artificially and lingering as fatigue, comfort that removes all effort creates biological silence, and silence, over time, tells systems they are no longer required. This reframed longevity yet again. Aging did not accelerate because life was hard. It accelerated because life stopped asking the body to adapt. The absence of meaningful demand proved as damaging as excessive strain. The conflict becomes clear when comfort collides with modern aspiration. Societies strive to remove friction, to make life easier, faster, safer. In doing so, they quietly remove the conditions that keep biological systems responsive. Convenience becomes the organizing principle, and resilience becomes collateral damage. Researchers observed that people living in high-comfort environments struggled most when disruption finally arrived. Illness hit harder. Recovery took longer. Stress tolerance collapsed quickly. The body, untrained by challenge, lacked reserve. Systems optimized for ease performed poorly under pressure. This fragility created a paradox. Comfort reduced daily strain, but amplified the impact of rare stress. Lives felt easier until they suddenly didn't. When stability broke, the consequences were disproportionate. Attempts to correct this often misunderstood the problem. Short bursts of challenge were added, intense workouts, extreme experiences. But without daily necessity, these signals felt artificial. They exhausted systems rather than retraining them. Resilience did not rebuild sustainably because the surrounding environment still communicated ease. The body adapts best to regular, moderate challenge. Effort that arrives naturally and ends cleanly. Stress that rises, resolves, and leaves behind stronger systems. Comfort erased these patterns and replaced them with predictability. And predictability dulled adaptation over time. The conflict, then, is not between comfort and hardship. It is between ease and engagement. Longevity suffers when life becomes too smooth to require participation. When days no longer ask anything of the body slowly forgets how to respond. As modern environments continue to optimize for comfort, this hidden cost becomes harder to avoid. Systems grow efficient. Lives grow easy. Bodies quietly grow less capable of responding when ease breaks down. The climax of this story is the realization that comfort does not protect the body by default. It protects only when challenge still exists. Comfort without engagement is not safety, it is erosion. When life removes all friction, the body loses its reason to stay capable. Systems downshift, reserves shrink. Aging accelerates not through damage, but through disuse. The resolution is not to reject comfort entirely. It is to balance it with engagement. Lives that remain comfortable but still require effort, still demand adaptation, still ask something of the body each day. Longevity does not thrive in extremes. It suffers in environments that are too harsh, and it fades in environments that are too easy. It survives in the space between. As societies pursue smoother lives, this lesson becomes critical. Convenience must not erase necessity. Ease must not eliminate challenge. Because in the end, the body does not age fastest when it is overworked. It ages fastest when it is no longer needed.